Number 1. When assessing student learning in a performance-based task, like for example, a presentation or a demonstration, what is the most important element for a teacher to use to ensure fair and objective evaluation? The answer is letter B. Using a detailed rubric with clearly defined criteria and performance levels. So why is it B? So, a well-designed rubric provides clear and specific criteria against which student performance is evaluated, ensuring consistency, transparency, and objectivity in the assessment process. Number 2, a school in the Philippines is implementing a new technology integrated learning program. What is the most critical factor to consider for its long-term sustainability and effectiveness? The answer is letter C. Ensuring that teachers are adequately trained in pedagogical approaches that effectively integrate technology to enhance learning outcomes. So, why is it letter C? Because technology integration is only effective when teachers know how to use it purposefully to enhance their teaching and promote student learning. Adequate pedagogical training is crucial for long-term success. Number 3, a school implements a new standardized assessment that focuses heavily on recall of factual information. How might this assessment most negatively impact a teacher's instructional practices? The answer is letter B. It might lead teachers to prioritize rote memorization over critical thinking and problem-solving skills because when high-stakes assessments emphasize factual recall, teachers may feel pressured to teach to the test, potentially neglecting the development of higher-order thinking skills that are crucial for long-term learning and application. Number 4, a teacher is designing a unit on climate change for their high school students. Which of the following activities would best promote critical evaluation of information from various sources? The answer is letter C, requiring students to research and compare the credibility and biases of different organizations presenting data on climate change. So, this option directly engages students in analyzing the reliability and potential biases of different sources. A key aspect of critical evaluation, it encourages them to look beyond surface level information. Number 5, a teacher is working with English language learners or ELLs in a mainstream classroom. Which of the following strategies would be most effective in supporting their comprehension of complex academic vocabulary? The answer is letter B, using context clues and visual aids to explain new vocabulary within the lesson. So why is it letter B? Context clues and visuals provide meaningful support for ELLs to understand new vocabulary within the context of the lesson, making it more accessible and memorable than rote memorization or isolated dictionary work. Number 6, a school is committed to fostering students' global citizenship skills. Which of the following activities would be most effective in achieving this goal? The answer is letter C. Engaging in collaborative projects with students from other countries addressing global issues and developing intercultural understanding. Why is it letter C? Direct interaction and collaboration with individuals from different cultures on shared global challenges provide authentic opportunities for students to develop empathy, intercultural understanding. Number 7, a teacher is designing a unit on historical events. Instead of just focusing on dates and facts, what approach would best promote students' historical thinking skills? The answer is letter C, engaging students in analyzing primary and secondary sources, considering different perspectives, and constructing their own interpretations of the past. So why is it letter C? Because historical thinking involves analyzing evidence, considering context, understanding different viewpoints, and forming reasoned interpretations, which are all fostered by engaging with historical sources and perspectives. Number 8, a teacher is using collaborative online tools for a group project. How can the teacher best ensure that all students contribute equitably to the task? The answer is letter C. Clearly defining individual responsibilities, monitoring individual contributions through the platform's features, and incorporating peer and self-assessment of contributions. Why is it letter C? Because it is explicitly defining roles, monitoring individual activity, and using assessment strategies that consider individual contributions help to prevent social loafing and promote accountability within group work. Number 9, a teacher in the early grades observes that some students struggle with the transition from play-based learning in kindergarten to more structured academic tasks in grade 1. What strategy would best support these students' adjustment? The answer is letter B. Continuing to incorporate elements of play and hands-on activities into lessons while gradually introducing more structured tasks. Why is it letter B? Because a gradual transition that bridges the gap between play-based learning and more formal academics acknowledges the developmental needs of young learners and provides a more supportive and effective pathway to academic success. Number 10, a school is considering a shift towards more student-centered learning approaches. What fundamental change in the teacher's role does this shift necessitate? The answer is letter A, from delivering information to facilitating learning and inquiry. Why is it A? In student-centered learning, the teacher's role evolves from being the primary source of information to a facilitator who guides students in their own exploration, discovery, and construction of knowledge. Number 11, a teacher in a rural Philippine community notices that many students arrive late to school due to transportation challenges and household responsibilities. What is the most constructive initial response the teacher should take to address this issue? The answer is letter C. Communicating with the school administration and community leaders to understand the underlying causes and explore potential solutions. So why is it C? Because addressing systematic issues like transportation and household responsibilities requires collaboration with the school administration and community to find sustainable and supportive solutions for the students. Number 12, a teacher notices that some students are highly engaged in hands-on activities but struggle with written assignments. What instructional strategy would best address this learning style preference while still developing essential writing skills? The answer is letter B. Providing alternative ways for the students to demonstrate their learning, such as through oral presentations, visual projects, or creating models with written explanations. So why is it B? Because offering varied modalities for demonstrating learning acknowledges different learning styles while still requiring students to articulate their understanding in different ways, including written components when appropriate. Number 13, a teacher is reflecting on a lesson where students struggled to apply a newly learned concept to a novel problem. What is the most likely reason for this difficulty? The answer is letter B. The initial instruction focused primarily on rote memorization rather than deep conceptual understanding because if students only memorize facts or procedures without understanding the underlying concepts, they will likely struggle to transfer that knowledge to new unfamiliar situations. Number 14. What is the term for the code of ethical standards that guides the conduct and responsibilities of teachers? The answer is letter A, the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. So, the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, formerly known as Republic Act No. 4670, is a Philippine law that aims to improve the social and economic status, living and working conditions, and career prospects of public school teachers. Number 15, according to the law, how many units of professional education are required for graduates of other degree courses to be able to take the licensure examination for teachers, or LET? The answer is D, 18 units. Because the Professional Regulation Commission, or PRC, only requires 18 credit units or 6 courses of professional education to qualify for the LET. Number 16, a school wants to promote ethical decision-making among students. Which of the following approaches would be most effective in fostering this development? The answer is letter C, creating opportunities for students to discuss ethical dilemmas, analyze different perspectives, and reflect on their own values, because ethical development involves critical thinking and the ability to reason through complex situations. Providing opportunities for discussion, analysis, and reflection helps students develop their own moral compass. Number 17, a teacher is reflecting on a lesson that did not go as planned. Several students appeared confused and did not meet the learning objectives. What is the most productive next step for the teacher's professional growth? The answer is letter B, reviewing the lesson plan and identifying areas where instruction could be improved. Why is it letter B? Because reflective practice is essential for teacher development. Analyzing what went wrong and identifying areas for improvement in the lesson design and delivery allows the teacher to learn and refine their practice. Number 18, a school aims to foster a more inclusive environment for students with disabilities. Which of the following approaches would be most effective in achieving this goal? The answer is letter B, training all teachers on differentiated instruction and universal design for learning, or UDL principles. So, why is it B? Because equipping all teachers with the skills to differentiate instruction and apply UDL principles allows them to proactively address the diverse learning needs within the regular classroom, promoting inclusion and access for all students. Number 19, a teacher is working with a student who has demonstrated significant academic growth throughout the year but still struggles with standardized tests. What might be the most valid explanation for this discrepancy? The answer is letter C. The student performs better in classroom-based assessments than in high-stakes testing, because test anxiety can significantly impact a student's performance on high-stakes assessments, even if they have a strong grasp of the material. Classroom-based assessments often provide a more supportive and less stressful environment. Number 20, a school is considering a shift towards more student-centered learning approaches. What fundamental change in the teacher's role does this shift necessitate? The answer is letter A, from delivering information to facilitating learning and inquiry. Why is it A? Because in student-centered learning, the teacher's role evolves from being the primary source of information to a facilitator who guides students in their own exploration, discovery, and construction of knowledge. Number 21, a teacher is planning a lesson on persuasive writing. Instead of providing students with a pre-selected list of topics, what approach would best encourage their engagement and ownership of their learning? The answer is B, allowing students to choose topics that are personally meaningful and relevant to them. Why is it B? Because allowing students to choose their own topics increases their interest and investment in the task, making the learning more meaningful and motivating. Number 22, a school principal wants to foster a stronger sense of community among students, teachers, and parents. Which of the following initiatives would likely have the most significant long-term impact? The answer is letter C, establishing shared decision-making processes that involves all stakeholders because shared decision-making empowers all stakeholders, fostering a sense of ownership, respect, and collaboration, which are foundational for a strong and sustainable school community. Number 23. A teacher encounters a student who consistently demonstrates a significant discrepancy between their high performance in individual assignments and their low participation in group projects. What is the most plausible explanation for this behavior? The answer is C. The student prefers to work independently and may feel hindered by group dynamics or unequal contribution. Because some students thrive in independent settings where they have more control over their work and pace. They might find group work challenging due to issues like social loafing by others or differing work styles. Number 24. A school is reviewing its grading policies. Which of the following principles should be given the highest consideration to ensure grades are meaningful and accurately reflect student learning? The answer is C. Grades should be transparent, aligned with learning objectives, and based on clear criteria. Because transparency, alignment with learning goals, and clear criteria ensure that grades communicate what students have learned and mastered, making them a more accurate reflection of their academic achievement. Number 25, a teacher is using a new online learning platform. Some students are navigating it easily while others are struggling. What is the teacher's most effective initial response to address this disparity? The answer is B, providing individualized support and differentiated instruction on how to use the platform because recognizing that students have different levels of digital literacy, providing targeted support and varied approaches to learning the platform is the most equitable and effective way to ensure all students can access the learning resources. Number 26. A school wants to integrate culturally responsive teaching practices. Which of the following actions would be most impactful in achieving this goal? The answer is C. Providing professional development for teachers on understanding and valuing students' cultural backgrounds and adapting instruction accordingly because culturally responsive teaching requires a deep understanding of students' cultures and the ability to adapt pedagogical approaches to meet their diverse needs. Professional development is crucial for equipping teachers with these skills. Number 27. A teacher observes a student who is consistently withdrawn and avoids social interaction. What is the most ethical and appropriate first step the teacher should take? The answer is letter C. Observing the student's behavior more closely, documenting specific instances, and attempting to build a trusting relationship with the student because careful observation and building trust are essential before taking further action. The teacher needs to understand the context of the student's behavior and ensure any intervention is sensitive and appropriate. Number 28. A newly implemented inclusive education policy in a Philippine school requires mainstream teachers to handle students with diverse learning needs. What is the most crucial professional development focus for these teachers? The answer is C. Developing skills in differentiated instruction, universal design for learning, or UDL, and creating acceptable learning materials. Because inclusive education necessitates that all teachers have the pedagogical skills to adapt their teaching to meet the varied learning needs of all students in their classroom, ensuring equitable access and participation. Number 29. A teacher is faced with a situation where they suspect a student is experiencing neglect at home. What is the teacher's primary ethical responsibility in this situation? The answer is letter C. Following the school's protocol for reporting suspected child abuse or neglect to the appropriate authorities. Because teachers are mandated reporters in many jurisdictions, their primary ethical and legal responsibility is to ensure the safety and well-being of the child by reporting suspicions to the designated authorities who are trained to investigate such matters. Number 30, a school wants to empower students to become more self-directed learners. Which of the following strategies would be most effective in fostering this skill? The answer is B. Encouraging students to set their own learning goals, monitor their progress, and reflect on their learning. Because self-directed learning involves students taking ownership of their learning process, setting goals, monitoring progress, and reflecting on their learning are key components of this skill. Number 31. A teacher observes that several students consistently struggle to grasp abstract mathematical concepts. Which of the following instructional strategies would be most effective in addressing this challenge and fostering deeper understanding? The answer is letter C. Utilizing concrete manipulatives and real-world analogies to illustrate the concepts, because this opinion encourages students to connect abstract ideas to tangible experiences, promoting conceptual understanding rather than rote memorization. Manipulatives and analogies provide a bridge between the concrete and the abstract. Number 32. In a diverse classroom with students from various cultural backgrounds, a teacher notices that some students are hesitant to participate in class discussions. What is the most likely underlying reason of this reluctance? The answer is letter D. Cultural differences in communication styles and comfort levels with public speaking. Because cultural norms significantly influence communication styles, some cultures prioritize listening over active participation in group settings, and students might feel uncomfortable speaking up due to these cultural influences. Number 33, a school implements a new standardized assessment that focuses heavily on recall of factual information. How might this assessment most negatively impact a teacher's instructional practices? The answer is letter B. It might lead teachers to prioritize rote memorization over critical thinking and problem-solving skills, because when high-stakes assessments emphasize factual recall, teachers may feel pressure to teach to the test, potentially neglecting the development of higher-order thinking skills that are crucial for long-term learning and application. Number 34. Which of the following is the primary legal basis for the regulation and licensing of teachers in the Philippines? The answer is letter A. Republic Act number 7836. What is Republic Act or RA number 7836? It is also known as the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994, aims to strengthen the regulation and supervision of the teaching profession in the Philippines. Number 35. A teacher notices a pattern of disruptive behavior from a student during group work activities. Instead of immediately resorting to disciplinary action, what should the teacher's first step be in addressing this issue effectively? The answer is letter C. Analyzing the student's role within the group and the nature of the disruptive behavior. Because understanding the context of the behavior, including the student's interactions within the group and the specific triggers, is crucial for developing targeted and effective interventions. Number 36. A school is considering integrating more technology into its curriculum. Which of the following criteria should be given the highest priority when evaluating potential educational technology tools? The answer is letter B. Alignment with learning objectives and potential to enhance student engagement and understanding. Because the primary goal of educational technology should be to improve teaching and learning. Alignment with curriculum goals and the potential to deepen student engagement and comprehension are paramount. Number 37. A teacher is reflecting on a lesson that did not go as planned. Several students appeared confused and did not meet the learning objectives. What is the most productive next step for the teacher's professional growth? The answer is letter B. Reviewing the lesson plan and identifying areas where instruction could be improved. Because reflective practice is essential for teacher development. Analyzing what went wrong and identifying areas of improvement in the lesson, design, and delivery allows the teacher to learn and refine their practice. Number 38. A school is considering adopting a new digital grading system. Which factors should be prioritized to ensure effective implementation? The answer is letter C. Teacher training and support. This question requires evaluation and prioritization, asking students to weigh complex, real-world factors and justify their reasoning. Number 39. Two teachers use different classroom management styles. One is authoritative, the other is permissive. Which outcome is most likely to differ between their students? The answer is letter C, classroom cleanliness, because students must analyze and compare educational theories and predict outcomes, not just recall definitions. Number 40. A student consistently disrupts class. Which intervention best addresses the root cause of the behavior? The answer is C, classroom observation and behavior analysis, because this scenario requires application and analysis to select an evidence-based intervention, not just a disciplinary action. Number 41. Which of the following best illustrates formative assessment in practice? The answer is letter C, teacher feedback on a draft essay, because students must distinguish between assessment types and evaluate examples in context. Number 42. If a school's inclusive education policy is not improving outcomes for students with disabilities, what is the most appropriate next step? The answer is letter C, analyze implementation barriers and adapt strategies, because this question asks students to diagnose a policy issue and propose a data-driven solution requiring analysis and synthesis. Number 43. A teacher wants to foster critical thinking. Which classroom activity best supports this goal? The answer is letter D, watching a documentary. Students must evaluate activities and select one that aligns with higher order thinking objects, just like the watching a documentary. Number 44. In a culturally diverse classroom, which teaching approach most effectively promotes equity? The answer is C, using only standardized tests. This question requires application of multicultural education principles and evaluation of their effectiveness. Number 45. After a lesson on climate change, which student response best demonstrates synthesis? The answer is letter B, listing causes of global warming. Students must identify an example of synthesis, the creation of new ideas based on learned concepts, just like listing causes of global warming. Number 46. A teacher receives conflicting feedback from students and parents about a new homework policy. What should the teacher do next? The answer is letter B, hold a meeting to discuss perspectives and adjust the policy as needed. This scenario requires evaluation of stakeholder input and collaborative problem solving, just like holding a meeting to discuss perspectives and adjust the policy as needed. Number 47. Which scenario best illustrates ethical decision making in education? The answer is letter C, accepting gifts from students. Students must analyze situations and apply ethical standards to select the correct action. Number 48. When introducing a new curriculum, which strategy ensures successful adoption among teachers? The answer is letter B, providing professional development and ongoing support. Students must evaluate implementation strategies and select the ones supported by research and best practice. Number 49. A principal wants to improve school climate. Which action is most likely to have a long-term positive impact? The answer is B. Organizing regular community building activities. This question asks for evaluation of interventions based on their potential for lasting change. Number 50. If standardized test scores drop after a new teaching method is introduced, what is the best way to determine the cause? The answer is letter C. Discontinue the method immediately. Students must analyze a complex situation, consider evidence, and propose a systematic approach to problem solving.